Well, the Brilliant event is just about to finish up, and I made it to the bonus task. Did not make it past the bonus task, nor was I really trying to do. That a lot of you, like me, had trouble with the Executioner. I just wasn't seeing them. And then actually, even when I got to the Werewolf, the Brilliant Werewolf, returning those fragments was a pain because I kept seeing a ton of the Wanted Sirius Black Brilliant and Dementor Brilliant. I ended up placing one of those images because those images counted towards the 5 images in step 4. But I wasn't getting the Werewolf, so I couldn't make it past step 3. So that was kind of annoying in and of itself. And then having to go through all the fortresses to get the challenge experience, or not challenge experience, wizarding experience, even with the Barufios, unless you're doing higher level chambers, soloing, you got to do 10, 12, 15 chambers just to get that done on the lower level ones. That being said, that's not why we're here for this video today. I do want to talk about a boycott that will be upcoming and kind of some other stuff that's going on right now in the social media and with a lot of the content creators and stuff, and some things we're thinking about that hopefully in the end can only help you. I'm Professorvoqas, and this is Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
Hello, Professor. I didn't see you there.
It is just around 2 o'clock on Monday, which for me finishes the event because Pacific time, I'm on the East Coast of the United States, so everything ends at 2 p.m. for me. So as per usual, I came up here to try to get as far as I could in the event right at the end, which to me, was the last couple hours. I really went through task set 3 and 4 because those Executioners really did slow me down. At one point at home, I actually put on 2 tonics in a row. One tonic produced 1 Executioner, and the second tonic produced 0 Executioners. So, I mean, not for lack of effort, but once that started happening, I was like, I'm not really going to push it to make it through this. Regardless of the rewards, if it's going to be that difficult and make me have to go that out of my way to get them, I'm fine with just not getting them. I was happy to finish the event itself. Did actually manage to walk some Portkeys, really just putting them in and not even during active times, which that brings up really the nice segue into the main issue that's coming up is the Adventure Sync not working for Samsung phones. It was like the late fall last year when something changed essentially with the API and how Adventure Sync communicated with the game. Now, for Niantic games, and this kind of brings up another point, for Niantic games like Pokemon Go, Adventure Sync still works with Samsung phones, like no problem. But with Harry Potter Wizards Unite, for Samsung phones, it does not work. And by not working, I mean when you turn the phone off and you're just walking around, normally not playing the game. If you have the game open and you're walking around, you don't need Adventure Sync. It's just logging where you are with GPS anyway. It's really closing the game and being able to walk Portkeys. Now, as of fall last year, that's when Wizards Unite started running into problems, whereas Pokemon Go did not. It ran into problems for about a week, got solved, they kind of did their fix, and boom, they're good to go. Now, I guess my first point to bring up is a lot of people are unhappy with parts of the game, and that's perfectly fine. But a lot of people talk about, hey, Niantic needs to fix this, Niantic needs to fix this, Really, I would say almost direct all your comments toward Warner Brothers games, Portkey games. That's really who runs the game. Niantic is a partnership with them, and they do things within the game, but in the same way that Niantic runs Pokemon Go and partners with the Pokemon Company in Japan. If something's going wrong with the game, complaining to the Pokemon Company won't really do anything, or directing even comments or anything else, constructive or otherwise, directing it toward them, it's fruitless, really. It really should go toward Niantic for Pokemon Go because they run the game. Whereas Portkey Games, Warner Brothers, they run Harry Potter Wizards Unite, and Niantic is a partner with them that they've used their the map and that kind of thing and some other technologies, but they're really on a lot of the decision making and fixes are on their own. Adventure Sync being at the top of the list for a lot of people, Samsung users especially, because the fact that Pokemon Go has it working means Niantic knows how to get it to work, and if it's not working for us, it's not Niantic. They would have fixed it. It is Portkey Games. So we need to direct it toward that. So speaking of Adventure Sync, because of this, there are members of the community that will be boycotting the 1920's event coming up, which comes up, they've made it 24 hours earlier. I'm speaking to you on 2 o'clock on Monday on the East Coast, 11 a.m. Pacific time, and in 24 hours, tomorrow, the 1920s event will happen, which has no tasks in it, nothing else. All it is about walking Portkeys, which means if you're a Samsung user, this event, it really feels probably like a slap in the face. And I have an iPhone. This is someone that has an iPhone. But I mean, I definitely can feel that pain. There's literally an event where you need to walk Portkeys, and it's all about Adventure Sync, and your Adventure Sync hasn't worked for months upon months upon months. It's been a long time since it's worked correctly. So I know Plotter 101 will be boycotting the event, and the Latin American community, a Wizards Unite Latin American community, one of the bigger fan groups or whatever, they're also being supportive of that. Now, in the meantime, there's been a lot of debate over this because some of the other community leaders and some other people have commented that that the way Portkey Games, Warner Brothers, really measures how the game is doing is like people completing events or completing the tasks. So in the case of this 1920s event, since there's no task, there's no completing the event. There's just Portkeys are there and you can walk them if you want. And in this particular case, I don't know how they keep track, so that sounds reasonable that they have data to back that up. But I guess I would argue for both sides, really. Everybody's in the right, and we all want the same thing. And some people have begun sometimes arguing about it. Not the content creators, more other people kind of sticking up for each other and that type of thing. Which great. I love that this community speaks up for their community leaders and things like that. But we all do want the same thing, which is the game to be better, the game to work for everybody. So I would go ahead and say that doing a boycott, really, it's almost a twofold event, and not just for this, for anything. If you're boycotting something, on the first thing is you want, whoever you're boycotting, you want change. You want them to change the thing based on the boycott. But I would say the second reason you boycott is more so that you can feel like you have done something. And it also just raises awareness. It makes a statement, whether it has a tangible effect immediately with said company or said group, it does at least set that out. And in this case, it is going out on social media. If nothing else, because of this boycott coming up, massive amounts of discussion has begun about, hey, what should we do? What can we do? So I would say, regardless, it is a success either way. And in this case, boycotting this upcoming event, I still think sets a tone. It's out there on social media. There's a community leader, Lola. There's a community manager for Harry Potter Wizards Unite. So at the very least, she would certainly notice it and pass on. By the way, the Latin American community, or this Latin American community group, did it. Plotter 101, one of the biggest users on Twitter. You've heard me mention him before, and I've used stuff, his infographics and other information, and I'm hoping to use it more in the future. They're putting this out there, so it's certainly out there in the community that people are unhappy. The Adventure Sync, there's some other things, other bugs. It's really just fixing all the bugs. And maybe stopping events for a little bit, or at least slowing down the events and having other time so the developers aren't worrying about events and they're just worrying about the bugs. So this video was really for those of you that don't really get on Discord or Reddit or are on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook as much. It's mainly the previous two I just mentioned. It's really for those of you that maybe just watch videos and hadn't heard too much about this. Just know that this is things that are happening in the community. People are thinking about it. We all have the same goal, which is to try to have some actionable things we can do to get Harry Potter Wizards Unite attention and then move on from there. Pokemon Go just recently did this when they took the distance you could interact with Pokestops. For those who don't play Pokemon Go, it'd be like the distance you can interact with an inn or a fortress, say. But inns, really. Is in Pokemon Go, they had shortened it kind of to pre-pandemic, and a lot of people came up in the community. A lot of the YouTubers actually put videos out. A lot of social media was out there, and they ended up putting out a big push back towards Niantic. Niantic then actually responded that, hey, we hear you, great. They said, we actually put together a committee. This committee is going to be discussing what we can do. And they said, I can't remember, it was like September, early September, they actually put a date. We will have an answer. We will come out with something on this date. And sure enough, they came out and said, we're reverting that distance back to the longer distance. The Pokemon Go community was very happy about that. They were transparent. They said they were forming this and that. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that at least Portkey Games can do right now. They don't even have to solve it. A lot of people have even commented, if they just said, hey, we have heard you, we know Adventure Sync is wrong, maybe even explain this is what the hurdles are. This is why it's been difficult for us to do this. Maybe it's something with getting connected with Samsung. Maybe it's something to do with they can't communicate with Niantic about how they do it and get that information, or maybe they have to pay for it. I don't know. But just to put something out, say that maybe they're putting a group together, and actually put the group together, and then give us a date that they're going to announce what actions they will be taking. Whether it be we're not going to have these Portkey events, we're going to have other ways for you to do things. Essentially take Adventure Sync out of the mix. I don't know. Something along those lines that makes it so that we feel like we're being heard, that they're actually taking actions to solve the problem or at least skirt around the problem for players that are having the problem, and not in a difficult way. It needs to be something that is definitely elegant and simple and it flows. So either just take those types of things out of events or figure out some other process by which those people don't have to worry about the Adventure Sync, and the other half of us that have Adventure Sync working, it's so much easier for us to get these things done. So as for the upcoming event, I don't know if I'm specifically boycotting it or not. I mean, I tell you this, I'm not using silver keys. Well, I discussed this last time that I wasn't a fan of this, even with Adventure Sync working, that it's only port keys and they're just going to make this slow trog and they're trying to get us to get these silver keys. I don't really spend money on the game ever. At the beginning I did, but I'll mainly just be using my gold key, if anything. I'm actually going to really consider it over the next 24 hours to decide if I actually want to boycott as well, and just not do the event for those 3 days, which means I could actually just continue to play the game. I would just not pick up any port keys at that time and just do my normal sessions, because as you know, some of my favorite days to play Wizards Unite are non-event days when I'm just going around returning foundables. I'm at my own pace and I'm not stressed out about trying to get one thing done or looking for a specific spawn. I can literally just take everything as it comes and enjoy the game the way I usually do enjoy it. So if you do want to get involved with helping to potentially change this game for the better and get some things changed that make it more enjoyable and more accessible for everybody, I'll keep you guys posted. As always, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Nox.